Okay, I'll tell you what it was on that slide. That slide is really showing creating the bridge from going from the nuts and bolts to the multidimensional reality, because that's been where I think ufology has needed to go for a long, long time. And the reason for that is that this is not just 3D, this is multidimensional. And what we're doing now with the new organisation of FREE, which is the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters, that really is about consciousness. It's about however you experience this. And we've always looked at the what we call the abductee or contactee type of experience, the bright light coming through into the bedroom and being taken up on craft. All of that was the way that we mostly looked at this experience. But all the other ways people experience this is what we need to look at as well, because all of it is contact, not just that particular type. So let me go to here we go. You've got it here. This is what FREE is doing. It's looking for the evidence of the reality inclusive of how it's experienced. Experience a contactee, hybrid, near-death experience, out-of-body experience may be the way that you experience it, shamanic way, as a walk-in, and I can go into these terms in a minute, or dual consciousness. These experiences are supported scientifically through the quantum hologram theory of physics and linked to non-ordinary states of consciousness. We're looking at consciousness primarily, and this is where we have to go. Hold on, I'll go back one. The quantum hologram that Dr. Rudy Shield and many others who are part of FREE are actually exploring in a way that science can understand what it is that the experiencer is understanding from their multidimensional experiences. So he's saying, let me go back again. I keep doing this, guys. Bear with me. It's commonly understood that we live in a universe dominated by quantum effects at its most basic level. Within this framework, consciousness has a quantum wave reality. Telepathy can be experienced by those with the gift to coherently resonate with quantum hologram. Premonition and precognition show us the future already exists in the quantum hologram. We perceive a need to extend this approach to a larger statistical base with rigorous statistical techniques to expand the discussion and provide a database available to the academic community. And this is what needs to happen if we're going to stop the derision, the laughter, all those things that most of you who've had experiences know you deal with. And they have gone into depth. And this is the results of the second survey. Let's look at some of these things here. 65.71% had ET contact but no abductions. Okay, 66% experienced some form of telepathic communication. 65% past life recall. 89% connection between ETs and the paranormal. 83% connection between ETs and the spirit world. 41% received information on new technologies. 93% decrease in materialistic values, very important, this transformative side. 50% reported healing experiences and also healing of family members, very important. 47% enhanced ability to learn, also an extremely important one where their consciousness and intellect has been raised. 81.84% can travel into the past, present and future, very important here. 96% can travel to other dimensions. 37% people believe in modern angels. 83%, if you could stop the experiences, would you? What do they say? No. What I also discovered that's fascinating recently about DNA is this. After 50 years of DNA research turned upside down, the scientists discover second programming language within the human genetic code. So all of a sudden we're finding that the DNA has more to offer us. There is a hidden code or a second code which contains information which alters how the scientists read instructions in the DNA and interpret mutations. The scientists have discovered genomes use the genetic code to write two separate languages. One is written on top of the other. These findings highlight that DNA is an incredibly powerful storage device. So what is in our DNA? What is it that we don't know? Now this is the bit that really takes us into our multidimensional nature. Two of these scientists, one's a linguist, they're both scientists, and what they've discovered about DNA is quite compelling. These are the bits that I want to highlight with you. I'm going to go back to this a few times. Multidimensional beings. DNA produces magnetized wormholes to transmit information from outside space and time to our consciousness. A multidimensional biological link to consciousness itself. Living chromosomes function like a holographic computer using endogenous DNA, laser radiation, able to modulate certain frequency patterns and influence DNA frequency, and thus the genetic information itself. DNA can also cause disturbing patterns in a vacuum, producing magnetized wormholes, tunnel connections between entirely different areas in the universe through which information can be transmitted outside of space and time. DNA attracts the information and passes it to our consciousness. It explains precognition, insights, clairvoyance, intuition, telepathy, past lives, spontaneous and remote acts of healing, self-healing, remote influencing with weather patterns, and more. So why is this language quite interesting, and why is it, whether they call it light language, star language, or glossolalia, as some people will call it, what is significant about that? One of the things I want to say to you is when people say, you know, how can you prove you've had experiences, for example? Yes, you can look at marks on the body, fluoresce under black ultraviolet light, you may have missing time or whatever. But for me, the most significant evidence of contact is the changes it makes in someone's lives. You don't make huge changes in your life unless something significant has happened. We know with any kind of experience we have that we get post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a proof that something has happened, for example. Well, the interesting thing with this is we will get post-traumatic stress disorder with some people, but we'll also find that they change their lifestyle, they'll change their perspective, they may suddenly get interested in healing, want a rural lifestyle, they'll change it, and also they'll manifest strange artwork. They may come out with strange languages or unusual languages. There's a whole range of things, expressions of contact that occur. And so my interest has always been, as a therapist first before researcher, is okay, so if you've had experiences, you've been up on a craft, you've been shown things, you're doing things, why are you now doing this? What's significant about that particular symbol? What's significant about that strange writing that you've done or script? Because to me, if that's manifested after an experience, it means something. We just don't know what it is yet. And that's been the intrigue, but that's also evidence, and we need to start looking at it. But one of the things that's really interesting here is human language can change how DNA expresses itself. And they've known this. This is why affirmations work. This is why hypnosis works. So if that's the case, one wonders then, what does star language or light languages do? One of the 10-year-olds in England told me he came through a portal in the sun. Many of the children born these days have memories intact from their previous existence on board craft as extraterrestrials. They're kept on track by continuing their interaction with their cosmic family while they're in human form. 96% of ETs travel to and from other dimensions. So just take that on board. This is actually some images of the sun showing what appear to be, or could be, craft going through a portal. This is a lovely young man of 9 who told me, my past life was on Orion. I was a light physicist and working on time travel technology. The closest to my understanding is the work of Nikola Tesla. And when he spoke to me and asked to speak to me, I said, why is it you want to speak to me? And he said, it's because of your frequency.